Salt and Light Catholic Radio, FM 102.3 and AM 1140 KGEM Boise, FM 101.7 and AM 1270 KTFI Twin Falls, and 89.5 FM KGVI Grangeville.
Start your day the Catholic way. Salt and Light Radio now presents Morning Light. Local information and interviews, along with news, traffic, weather, and sports from across southern Idaho. Grab your favorite coffee mug and enjoy the next hour as we talk with the people you know and trust. And now, the host of Morning Light, Brian Howell and Hope Ryan.
Good morning, broadcasting live from the St. Gabriel studio. Welcome to another Faithful Friday edition of Morning Light. You made it.
It's Friday. We have a birthday in our family.
Special birthday wishes.
Yes.
Is he awake?
Elementary to tweenness. No, but he will be soon. But the big joke was he was born at like 5:30 in the morning. The kids thought it would be hysterical to wake him up at 5:30 in the morning to celebrate his birthday. Then no one volunteered to get up at 5:30 in the morning to go poke him.
I would have gotten, well, I was up at 5:30, so I should have. Okay, well, bummer. Who's coming up on this January 20th?
Well, we have Casey Elkazalbel. She's the marketing manager for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul of Southwest Idaho. And then you'll be introduced to the excellent work done at Corpus Christi House when we talk with Dwayne Paris and Chad Somerville. And to wrap it all up, Priscilla's Porch with Busy Shore. And we're discussing feminism. It's really good.
Yes.
Stick around.
Please pray for our priest, specifically today, Father Dennis Gordon, FSSP, up in Post Falls. Pray for vocations as well. This week we've been praying for Brother Joseph from the Verbum Spei fraternity. And today is the feast of St. Sebastian, one of the most well-known and revered martyrs. His bravery and compassion helped many of the early persecuted Christians. We'll learn all about him a little bit later on in the hour. But right now, let's pray.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Glorious Sebastian, martyr and saint, I call on your strength and courage to help me through this difficult trial. Your faith is so deep, a multitude of arrows could not finish you. I ask for your intercession so that I may also survive that which threatens to destroy my belief in the mercy of Christ. Amen.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Morning Light News Time 7:02. 17 degrees this morning in Boise, 22 in Twin Falls. It's 24 degrees in Grangeville. According to a pair of search warrants unsealed Tuesday, police seized more than a dozen items from homicide suspect Brian Kohberger's apartment in Pullman, Washington on December 30th. Some of the items include a black rubber glove and red-stained bedding. Investigators also sought digital devices, including computers and cell phones. The 28-year-old Kohberger remains in custody without bond at the Latah County Jail and awaits a scheduled preliminary hearing on June 26th.
In the annual State of the Judiciary, which I did not know was
What
a
is
thing.
that?
Everyone gets a state of the whatever. We'll give you a state of the station. Idaho Supreme Court Chief Justice Richard Bevin highlighted several issues as the court proceeds into 2023. He asked legislators to address the safety issues that justices face. Several justices have been approached at their homes, and it leaves them with a feeling of unease. Additionally, the Chief Justice asked for a salary increase. Past state salary increases have excluded judges.
New research claims that canned fish may actually be healthier than a fresh catch. Studies reveal wild freshwater fish contain far more toxic forever chemicals than their commercial counterparts. Researchers concluded that high concentrations of toxic chemicals mean that consuming just one wild fish is equivalent to drinking a month's worth of contaminated water. Yummy. The findings shouldn't affect the majority of Americans, since only 5% of national fish consumption comes from local sources. So I guess it's catch and release from now on.
Right.
Bummer.
Right. Particularly in Lake Lowell, friends.
Oh,
Do not eat a fish at Lake
no.
Lowell. As you know, the Mass for Life and the March for Life will happen tomorrow. The Mass will be at St. John's Cathedral at 11 with Bishop Peter, and the March will follow at 1 p.m. Meet at the bandshell of Julia Davis Park and walk to the Capitol, where there will be a short rally. Local news has mentioned zero about the pro-life march, but is promoting a pro-abortion rally happening at the park just beyond the Capitol steps. You are encouraged to join the pro-life Mass and March. Your presence is especially important this Saturday, so we will see you there. And please pray in preparation for this event. Traffic and weather are next.
What does it mean to be a Bishop Kelly Knight? Faith, friendship, support, excellence, integrity, and memories that last a lifetime. Join our school community. Learn more about being a Knight at bk.org.
Bishop Kelly is hosting a new student information night for families interested in learning more about our school community. Mark your calendars for Monday, January 30th at 6:30 p.m. and visit bk.org for more information.
Good morning, light traffic. So it's still very slippery in your neighborhood, so getting out the first half a mile of your commute this morning will be the trickiest. Getting from your door to the car and not landing on your caboose, as my father would say.
Oh, you were watching? Oh, okay. I thought nobody saw that.
But your freeway commute looks really good this morning. Slowing on Karcher Road, just trying to approach the freeway. But State Street and Star Road, Eagle Road, Chinnen Boulevard looks really good this morning. So far, so good. That's your morning light traffic.
Treasure Valley weekend weather, sunny but cold the next few days. Highs only in the mid-30s with overnight lows 15 to 20 degrees. Magic Valley, partly cloudy skies this weekend with highs near 30, lows mid to upper teens. Camas Prairie, mostly sunny today and tomorrow, but then a chance of snow on Sunday. Highs 30 to 35, lows 20 to 25. 23 right now in Caldwell at Our Lady of the Valley. 19 out in Buell at Immaculate Conception Parish. In Rupert, 23 degrees at St. Nicholas. We'll take a short break and be back with St. Vincent de Paul as Morning Light continues on a Faithful Friday.
Are you struggling to find a way to spread the news about your upcoming event and reach more of the Catholic community? Salt and Light Radio would love to support your efforts. Click the Public Service Announcement tab at our website, saltandlightradio.com, and we can help you design, record, and produce some fantastic public service announcements. And best of all, they're free. Salt and Light Catholic Radio. Change your station, change your life.
Salt and Light Radio thanks Beacon of Light member Capital City Heating and Cooling for their support. With over 50 years of combined experience, they're dedicated to providing efficient solutions for your family's home comfort. Clients are treated with integrity, and it shows from the high ratings and recommendations on Google and Yelp for customer satisfaction. Located at 420 North Curtis Road in Boise, the phone number for Capital City Heating and Cooling is 208-345-4115, and the website capitalcityheating.com.
In 1999, Pope St. John Paul II designated February 11th as the World Day of the Sick. This year, the Anointing Mass will again be celebrated at the Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist on Saturday, February 11th at 10 a.m. Please come to celebrate the World Day of the Sick Anointing Mass on February 11 at 10 a.m., sponsored by the Order of Malta. To promote your event, please go to saltandlightradio.com and click on the Public Service Announcement tab under Contact Us.
Good morning, 708. Morning Light continues across the Salt and Light Catholic Radio Network. Thanks for joining us. Joined in the St. Gabriel studio by Casey Elgazabal. She is the marketing manager from the Society of St. Vincent de Paul of Southwest Idaho, and one of the coolest names that we've ever come across.
Amen.
You guys are getting very smooth at saying it, though.
Yeah.
I feel like we all stumbled
I think we
across
say it better than you do.
Yeah, you guys are even better than I am. I know. I was like, excuse me, hello, that sounds very good. We practice.
So today we want to talk about food pantries.
Yeah.
And I think when people are initially introduced to St. Vincent de Paul, we all know about the thrift stores. We
Right.
see them. We shop in them. We donate to them. But I don't know if everybody knows about the food pantry ministry work that St. Vincent de Paul does. So fill us in.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful network. We're actually the largest network of food pantries in the state of Idaho. It starts in Mountain Home. We've got Mountain Home. We've got here in Overland. We've got Nampa, Caldwell. And basically our food pantries are this unique and ever-changing program, if you will. When we went through COVID, we opened up a mobile pantry where we started taking the food to low-income housing and senior housing. We are still doing that. We have 10 mobile locations, which blows my mind that our team there, Brandon, is phenomenal, and all of our volunteers, of course, but that they can get that to those locations. And I've gone to several, and I think sometimes when you're talking to someone and they tell you like, oh yeah, I don't have kids that live here and I can't drive and I count on this once a month. This is my grocery trip. And you think about that for an elderly person or someone who has a low income and is struggling with the world changing as it is. It's important what we're doing, and the mobile locations are a really unique thing that we're offering that I wasn't a part of St. Vincent de Paul when that came to fruition, but I just think of how incredible that is. But yeah, so largest network. So of course, we are partnered with our, conferences and are so grateful for their support. One of the reasons that I wanted to bring the food pantries up and just kind of give an overarching detail of what we did last year, and again, what we hope to continue doing this year, is just because we have a partnership with the food bank, which is what the Idaho Food Bank is, primarily where all of our food comes from. But we also rely very heavily on donors, and I brought some stats. I had to write them down. Yes, I had to write them down. But we rely on the Idaho Food Bank for most of those donations or in-kind donations of food, but our donors really are the reason that we do what we do. And this last year, we're actually down probably 20%.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's
inflation.
Yes, it's so hard, and we know, of course, as a nonprofit, we're always saying, hey, if you feel it in your heart to support, we want to do that. But I wanted to share why we ask for those things or why we bring it to your attention. And in 2022, which listen, I can't get over it. I keep saying 2022. Yesterday I said 2001. I'm mixed up here.
I wrote 1997 on something the other day, and I thought,
and you go, what?
Goodness.
It's
Those
awful.
were the days.
I'm not
Yes,
alone.
but last year we served 28,000 households.
Wow.
28,000.
Yes, and it's so crazy when we start talking numbers. Ralph, our executive director, and I were sitting down yesterday, and I was just like, are we sure? And we're looking at numbers. I'm like, that is so amazing. And then we were like, let's look even further and see what we're doing with those 10 mobile locations and our brick and mortar, if you will. But we did 1.3 million pounds distributed last year. That's local.
Wow.
I think about how much food I pick up for a family of 6, me and my boyfriend and our 4 kids. And I can't imagine having $1.3 million or pounds of food even to look at. It's insane. Right. And of course, when you go into our pantries, which we encourage volunteers, we need that. And you see like the big walk-in freezers. It's like a grocery store. I mean, it's just incredible. But that kind of equates. We broke it down to equate to $2.5 million in food last year, and I guess I just hope that those numbers ring true in someone's heart to say, I want to participate, whether that's they're donating time as a volunteer to get involved with our community, or to say, hey, I've got $10, I want to throw it that way. It doesn't have to be some grand gesture. All of that helps us provide for our community.
Right. And you can make a financial donation go a long way with those relationships.
Absolutely.
It isn't like you're going to Albertsons and you're purchasing it, but you're
Exactly.
finding the partners who can give you the best deal or the biggest quantity and really make that money go a long, long way.
It's true, and I think sometimes we get a little hung up in that, like if it's not this grand, gesture, which we can't all do, but even those small donations or when you can donations are what keeps us afloat to be able to do not only the mobile locations, but our brick and mortar. But when you're talking about picking up food from multiple locations and then delivering it, I mean, just the cost of gas alone is so incredible with a 26-foot truck to bring that to places. So yes, we do stretch those dollars very far. But yeah, we're doing amazing things, but we are hoping that our support will come in this year and be there to help us continue and maybe even grow what we're doing currently. So yeah.
So your predecessor, Grant Breidenbach,
Yes.
he was over the moon when you guys got that first refrigerated truck to be
Yes.
able to take that food and go out to meet the people where they were.
Yes.
So are you telling me we have more refrigerated trucks now, or what is a
Or just more
mobile?
trips?
Yeah, what
More
is
trips.
More
Yes.
trips. Okay,
Yes.
but you go to a particular location, so there's
Yeah.
10 different
There
locations,
are.
same truck.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and we have a team, and I know you guys have probably met most everyone. I don't know that Brandon's been in, but I hope in the future that he can. He is such a gift to us. He's a veteran. He runs our veterans events that are also, in large food distributions. But him and his team and Johnny, who's been here before, he does all of the volunteer work. So most everyone knows Johnny's name when it comes to doing something with us because he's so integral in all of our programs. But his team and our volunteers will load a truck up based on the amount of people that the management at those locations notify us will be there or are expected to be there. We'll take anything and everything we can. We go there and we basically set it up where they come through and let us know what the family size is, and we do a dry box, and then we'll do a certain poundage of meat and then whatever produce is available. And so we typically load an entire grocery cart and then we'll take it up to their room, and then they bring the carts back and we load it up for someone else. And it's a really cool experience. If you haven't volunteered or would love to see that, give us a call. We love having people come out and help. We have some core volunteers that really have gotten so plugged in on the mobile pantries because they are incredible, taking, like what you were saying about Grant, just taking it where the people are. And that's something that we don't want to lose just because we instilled that during COVID. The need is still there, having 10 locations. And we're even, if you're hearing it for the first time, but on March 4th, and we will put out lots of information to let everyone know, but we are actually increasing our distribution days. So on March 4th, we'll create a Saturday distribution at
I'm
the
so
Overland.
glad to hear that.
Yeah, so, I know a lot of volunteers are like, hey, I work, I can't do that, at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Or people who need the food. It's like, I work
Exactly.
full time. I can't come to your pantry between
Exactly.
10 and noon on
Right.
a Tuesday.
Yeah,
That's
so
so
now
great.
we'll have this Saturday again. That won't happen till March, but we're just, again, the need is there. So we need the love and support and positive vibes and prayers for what we're doing, and we're proud of what we're doing. It's big impact, to serve 28,000 homes this year. People need it.
So our family many times has volunteered at the Idaho Food Bank to separate the food,
Okay.
by vegetables, fruits,
Yes.
proteins, and all that different things. So it's good to hear that there's opportunities for volunteers with St. Vincent de
Absolutely.
Paul. So how does somebody get involved with that?
Absolutely.
If our family now wants to transition and help with St. Vincent de Paul,
Yes.
how do we go about doing that?
So when you go to our website at svdpid.org, you can click into the volunteer tab,
Okay.
and it will list our thrift stores, our food pantries, and other volunteer opportunities. When you go to the food pantry section, you'll basically plug in a little bit of information, just like your email and availability, and then Johnny will basically get a hold of you. We do have a signup.com as well, also located in the same place, where you can go see what shifts and availability are open for food pantries, thrift stores, other programs that we have going on. And literally as easy as popping in your email and choosing a spot saying, hey, it's Brian, my kiddos, I'm not going to burn his dinner, so we'll be there. And join in, and then just show up on that date and time. So it's really cool. The signup.com will send you emails to remind you. We've got a smooth process, so it's very easy to volunteer, really fun. The shifts can be as short as an hour, so it doesn't have to be super labor intensive, but to support and give back to our community is our passion and our mission. So
Absolutely.
Excellent. Do you have any stories since we talked to you last? Any
so many.
encounters that you may have had?
Yes.
Because our listeners really love to hear those.
Yeah.
Because we can give them stats and they like that, and the money is big and the need is big.
Sure.
But
yeah.
it comes down to like real hearts and people engaging. What have you
Absolutely.
seen or heard?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is at the Thanksgiving food box, which I know feels like it's a ways back, but in reality, we're still coming off the busyness and efforts that it takes to launch such a huge program. But there was a woman that came through, and she hadn't registered. So what we do is they kind of come through and pull up to the side. And so while she was getting her information in, I was chatting with her and just kind of talking and being a real person with another real person to say, how's life? And she broke down. She was really broken. She felt embarrassed to need help. And she had 2 mini strokes or 3 mini strokes this year and was only able to work part-time. And her husband at the time wasn't working, and they had 4 kids. And so they came to the Thanksgiving food box distribution to get dinner, not only just for their regular need, but of course because it was a holiday and they don't want their kids to go without. But we talked about her life and the struggles that she's been going through, and she got out of her car and we cried together, and she hugged me, and I gave her my number. We have several different opportunities with our helpline and things. But at the time, in the midst of the food box, I said, give me a call. I will connect you with our helpline. We'll get you set up. She was able to call through that and get registered for our Christmas toy store and be able to go through and get her kids Christmas presents. So they went through the holiday season with a little bit of support in a season where they were like, we're on our feet. We're doing it. We're doing what we have to do. We're going to be fine. But it's just this small window that I just need to catch a break. I just need something. And it was hard for her to do that. But when she came through and felt so much love and support and just people saying, we just want to help. We just want to be there, because we've all had those days, months, weeks in our lives where we're like, man, I could just use $5. I could just use a dinner. I could just use to get through the holidays without the stress. And so that was probably the most pertinent or recent on my mind that I personally had an encounter with, and it was impactful. I shared it with our leadership team because I wanted them to know too that sometimes when we're in the office, we don't always get to see the hands-on, and we all try very hard to disperse our time and join our programs so that we can see the impact that we're having. But it's really amazing. And volunteering, they tell me all the time when I'm at programs that they get that experience every day when they're out there. When we're working at the food pantry, you're talking to people in their cars as you're loading up their food, and they're telling you what they're going through, or how they really need it, or they wish that they had known sooner, or they wish there was a Saturday distribution, which there will be. So yeah, I love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because that was my first initial exposure, I guess, to St. Vincent de Paul, was the Vincentians going out in pairs, meeting with families in their apartment or their home, helping out with clothing vouchers or
Right,
pay rent, pay
Absolutely.
utilities. That was initially what I thought that was it, that
Yeah.
St. Vincent. So it's been a blessing to me over the years to be able to have St. Vincent de Paul partner with Salt and Light Radio, and we can shine a light and spotlight all of these other important areas
Yeah.
that you serve.
And it's great that you say that, because we get in these programs and we get in these mindsets where we want to say, hey, we're here doing this, whether it's that you want to participate, help, donate, or that someone that could benefit
Right.
from this, right? But our core mission is that work, right? And our Vincentians that are going into those homes and doing those home visits is the core of what we do. And the reason that those programs have expanded is because when they're in the home and they say, oh, wow, it's not just that you need 1 month to help keep your lights on, it's that you don't have food in your refrigerator, and you need some options for clothing, and you need a nightstand
Yeah.
because you don't have somewhere to put a lamp. That's why we do that. And those programs have developed from that heart of being in the home with someone and being able to really see the need and fill it in ways that who knew that would expand the way that it has, and be able to say, oh, they need a food box, let's call the pantry, get that worked out, either get one delivered to them or set up to where they can come in at a certain time. But yeah, I love that you say that, because sometimes it's like I get on one mission with one program and I go, oh, it's so full circle how it all connects.
A lot of silos out there on the
Yeah.
farm.
Absolutely.
I love it. So if you want to know more, svdpid.org to volunteer to find thrift store locations, food pantry
Donate.
locations, all the reentry information. Give them some money. Your taxes are coming in. We know they are.
Every dollar gets stretched. We love it. So
Yes.
we want to help people.
Yes.
Well, thanks. It's great to see your
Yeah.
smiling face in the studio again.
Need it.
Yes, you did.
Thank you so much.
Casey Elgazamble, Marketing Manager from the Society of St. Vincent de Paul of Southwest Idaho, paying us a visit this morning. We'll take a 2-minute break, and then we're going to introduce you to another local ministry, the Corpus Christi House. That's coming up next as Morning Light continues on a Faithful Friday.
Daily Meditations of Pope Benedict XVI, presented by Leonardo de Philippis of St. Luke Productions.
The Sermon on the Mount and Encounter. People sense very strongly, shall we say, the double implication of the Sermon on the Mount, that this is, on the one hand, the message of a new inwardness, a maturity, and kindness, bringing freedom from superficiality and external things, yet at the same time making a more serious claim on us. And this claim is so great that man, were he left on his own, would be crushed by it. When it is said, I no longer merely say to you, you may not commit adultery, but that you may not look on a woman with lust. When it is said, not only may you not kill, but you may not even be angry at the other person. And when it is said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth is no longer enough. On the contrary, if anyone strikes you on the cheek, you must offer him the other cheek. Then we are confronted by a demand so great that it amazes us, but that also seems to ask too much of men, which would at least be asking too much of them if it were not in the first place lived out in Jesus Christ, and if the whole thing were not the result of a personal encounter with God.
This meditation is taken from Benedictus, published by Ignatius Press and Magnificat, and produced by St. Luke Productions. Learn more at stlukeproductions.com.
725, Faithful Friday edition of Morning Light continues across the Salt and Light Catholic Radio Network. We appreciate you joining us. Right now we're going to introduce you to the Corpus Christi House. Many of us in the Catholic realm know about Corpus Christi. Not everybody, though, so we wanted to get these guys on the air. We have Dwayne Parrish joining us in the St. Gabriel studio, and then via Zoom, Chad Somerville joining us as well. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right. Well, first off, we'll let each of you kind of give your own answer to what exactly is Corpus Christi House. And since Dwayne's here to my left, we'll let him start off.
Good morning, Brian and Hope. Corpus Christi House is the only daytime warming shelter, cooling shelter in the summer for Boise. So our goal is to offer respect and dignity and love to our guests that come in. We offer a lot of services, from coming in the morning and getting some coffee and light breakfast, to also having showers available for our guests. We have a clothing room where individuals can get clothing for the day. And then also we offer mail services where, over 1,000 people have their mail sent to us. And then we also do a nice healthy lunch every day with usually a soup and a salad and some kind of protein with it. And I'll let Chad tell some about us also.
Yeah, thanks, Dwayne. Corpus Christi House is a bit of an oasis in a very difficult space for a person experiencing a homeless crisis. As you can imagine, there's really nowhere to go, right? If you don't have a job to go to during the day, and you don't have a family in town, or a family you can go to, or a friend in town where you can go to, it's very difficult to get out of the weather and just take the basic care of yourself from a hygiene perspective, from a personal care perspective. And Corpus Christi House offers that space to just have a safe place to be, where you're not going to get moved along, a safe place where you can take care of you from just the basics of humanity, and a place where you can meet a person and have a conversation with a person like Dwayne or the other wonderful staff and volunteers. Let me highlight the volunteers, where you can meet a person and ask a question and just share your story, or honestly just have some quiet time.
That's beautiful. So I knew Henry Kruer when he was beginning Corpus Christi House, and he's one of those people that when you meet, he'll get to know you, and then he'll give you a job, a task. It's like, oh, good. I think you need to do this to change the world and make it a better place, and come to Corpus Christi House and see us. So we'd love to know, what are your titles, your responsibilities with Corpus Christi House, and also, why did you get involved in this particular work or ministry?
Dwayne, I'll let you start.
This is Dwayne. I'm the shelter coordinator, so I run the day-to-day operations for Corpus Christi House. And basically, I was volunteering there, helping cook meals and spending time there, and just really felt the Lord was leading this portion of my life to give back to others. And seeing how the guests were treated with the dignity and respect, and really the love that comes through all the volunteers that come in and spend time there, really drew me to the mission. And that's what brought me there and why I'm there.
Chad, how about you?
Well, our church was one of the founding churches that kind of got together and helped with the basics of it, along with Henry and the other teams that joined in 2003. And so I knew of Corpus Christi House. I wasn't personally involved in that beginning phase. But about 4 years later, I was just driving downtown and I met a woman who was holding up a sign saying it's my daughter's birthday. And it happened to be my daughter's birthday also. And so I pulled over and we got to know her. And from that moment, we started to understand what her personal needs were for both herself and her children, who happened to be exactly my children's ages. And so we, obviously took care of things that particular day, but also then started a program through Corpus Christi House, which turned into what's next door of Corpus Christi House called the Step Up Center. And this was an education center where we have computers and tutors, people that are just helping find jobs or housing through the internet and things like that. It really started as a GED center. So helping this particular mom finish her one math class that she had to finish. And so we started this tutoring program. And also we were trying to also get the kids off the street from the 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock time period, helping them with their homework because they had nowhere to do their homework. So obviously they were failing through and falling through the cracks. That's how I got started. And then a number of years ago, one of the leaders on the board of directors said, here's a job for you. Exactly like you said, Henry does. Exactly. Here, hold my broom, and then I became one of the members of the board of directors, and that's what I do today.
Great. So where is Corpus Christi House located, and what are the hours of its operation again?
Corpus Christi House is located at 525 South Americana Boulevard. We're just past the skateboard park on the right in the middle of the block. And our hours are 8:30 till 4:30. We do close the interior at 4 and leave our back patio open until 4:30.
All right.
So with the housing crisis in the Treasure Valley, inflation, just all of these things that people are experiencing who have housing, how has this increased the needs at Corpus Christi?
Oh, definitely.
Well, the needs have changed in a number of ways, actually. Just the number of people coming through the door has increased, and that's partly due to our population growing, right? But also due to people being evicted from their housing. The other thing that's happening is that we're getting a lot more young people, right? And a lot of people experiencing some mental crisis. And so the challenges of services are increasing in a number of ways. If you think vertically, the number of people, right? And with the challenges that these people are facing are both increasing significantly. That's actually one of the reasons why we moved from a 100% volunteer organization to a paid staff perspective, partial paid staff, right? Because we needed people who could be there on a daily basis to create consistency and relationship with these people that are going through these difficult times. They need relationships that is consistent. But also during COVID, we needed to provide people with the basics of health insurance and things like that, because they're doing this work that is incredibly challenging. Let's not pretend that working at Corpus Christi House is a walk in the park. It is challenging work. And so the people who are working there are working through such difficulty. They deserve to have the benefits of a paid position. So those are two things. Dwayne, any other thoughts there?
I lost my train of thought.
Well, we were just wondering about,
listening to Chad.
The last couple of years, we've just seen, the landscape here locally change so much. What are you seeing, boots on the ground there at Corpus Christi House, as far as the increase in needs, or maybe what have the faces changed as far as who you're seeing coming through the front door?
Or maybe, Dwayne, I could ask you this question. Introduce us to some of the folks that are at Corpus Christi. and a little bit of maybe their backstory, so people can have like real people connected. Because we talk about homelessness in this huge umbrella, and everyone nods, yes, that's a problem. But so who are these individuals, these families that you're encountering?
Well, as Chad said, we're seeing a lot more as housing prices have increased, rents increased. We're seeing a lot more individuals come through, and the challenges of just losing their house and starting their their homeless experience. So individuals like that, I'll give a tour of the facility, let them know what we do. Just down the block from us is Catch Our Path that helps with caseworkers and also helps with housing lists. We'll get individuals down there and introduce them to counselors there, and then also show them where Interfaith Sanctuary is so they can take advantage of those services. We also see a lot of individuals, guests that come in the mornings and take a shower, get a quick bite to eat before they go off to work. And they're still housed, but the challenge of keeping that housing, they need supplement as far as food, not having to pay to do their laundry, place to take a shower, get clothing, and just help them so they can survive on what little they do make. And then we have our guests that are, medically fragile. We're seeing more of those individuals in walkers and wheelchairs that have, been released from a medical facility and really have no place to go. And so they'll be in there in the day. And those individuals really require where we get involved with them, understand what their challenges of the day is. Sometimes it's helping them find clothes or helping them get into the showers, take showers, but really help them with that and then get them a meal if needed. And then we have other individuals that, are down and out on their luck, and they just need a quiet place, or a place to go feel community, love and respect, and some dignity, and a safe space where they know that they can spend the day and not have to worry about someone coming by and saying you can't stay here for the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know that this intense work takes a lot of money. You guys need funding. I didn't know if there was any government programs out there, or are you relying solely 100% on donations from the general public?
Yeah, so we are 100% funded by our community.
Wow.
We do not have any finances coming in from state or federal or any other government or grants like that. That's part of the history of Corpus Christi House. And it's just one of the things that is incredibly a source of pride for us, because it's a community program run by the community, right? And so donations come in a number of ways. Obviously, we need our monthly and yearly donations of money. We run two different finances or fundraising programs, one in the December time period and one in the May time period. So Idaho Gives is one of those that comes around, and then Avenues for Hope is in the winter time. So as you think about your yearly and monthly giving, Corpus Christi House has a link right on the website where it says you can donate. You can either donate once or you can donate multiple times. Another way of donating is we can have stocks rolled over. So if you have a stock portfolio and you need a tax savings by selling off some stocks, you can actually transfer those to us and get your tax. Obviously, talk to your tax preparer professional. We are not tax professionals. Talk to them, but we can take your stocks. And then third, it's your work, your effort, your volunteerism. As I mentioned, we started as a 100% volunteer organization. We would love to increase our number of volunteers to a much more higher ratio, because obviously running the program with paid staff is fabulous. But what we really, the goal of Corpus Christi House is to be run by volunteers. And so we need you. If you have 3 hours on a Monday, we will use you in the ways that you have the gifts to give to Corpus Christi House. That could be through signing people in. That could be through sitting down and having a conversation with people. Can I get you a refill of your coffee? And going and doing things like that. Helping in the kitchen. As Dwayne mentioned, there's snacks in the morning and then a meal at the noontime hour. Helping to prepare that. right? We're not a full kitchen with actual cooking, but it's preparing the meals that are available to us. There's you can come and, like I mentioned, Henry will hand you his broom. Just sweep up a little bit, and while you're doing it, you're part of the community. So there's lots of ways to donate and give to Corpus Christi House. All of that is laid out on the website. It's corpuschristiboise.org.
So before we let you go, what would you say to someone who's listening who might be nervous or apprehensive to come work at a homeless day shelter? There's a lot of stigma with homelessness, and you see real faces versus other people see just folks that end up on the news. Maybe just quickly dispel a myth and encourage people to come.
Well, Corpus Christi, we really try to, create a loving atmosphere and a sense of community. And, if people are drawn in their heart to be involved with individuals, spend some time talking with them, then, Corpus is a great place. There is, as Chad did mention, it is at times people, because of mental illness and different things going on, there can be outbursts and stuff, but that's what the staff's there for, and the seasoned volunteers. And we get involved and talk to people and get them calmed down and stuff like that. It's usually a he said, she said sort of situation, and just, talk it out and get everybody to understand what was said, and, try to give each other a little grace. And, then usually things calm down and everybody goes about their day. But it's really, the opportunity. What I found and really drew me to Corpus Christi is whatever I give, I receive so much more back. And, when you leave at the end of the day, you may be tired, but when you start driving home and thinking about the conversations you had, or the individuals that you just sat with or gave a cup of coffee to or helped serve a meal to, it really brings home the fact that we're all here to love and help each other out. And the more we do that, the better place we'll have.
Excellent.
Amen.
Thank you so much. CorpusChristiBoise.org.
And you will not be left alone. Sorry, let me also just say that you will not be on your own when you volunteer at Corpus Christi House. You will be trained and you will be guided through your first couple of shifts. So no worries at all. You won't be thrown into the deep end.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
CorpuschristiBoise.org, and we'll put that on our social media so that you can circle back later. And we just hope that you will give, whether it's your time, talent, or treasure. Corpus Christi House, another place to do that. Dwayne Paris and Chad Somerville joining us here on Morning Light. We'll take a short break, be back with news, traffic, and weather next.
Have you heard the SALT podcast? SALT stands for Seeing All the Lord Teaches, and features interviews that range from exploring different forms of spirituality to how Catholicism is celebrated around the world to the ways faith is expressed through media. Hosted by Trinity Baines, we bring you a fresh, new perspective to the church. Click the Listen tab of our website, saltandlightradio.com, and go to podcasts to start exploring.
Support for Salt and Light Radio comes from Metro Community Services and the Idaho Senior Medicare Patrol Program. Medicare telephone fraud is real and dangerous. You will never receive a telephone call directly from Medicare or Social Security. If you do, please hang up and call 208-459-0063 immediately to report the incident. Metro Community Services, your community partner, promoting independence, protecting integrity. Morning Light News Time is 7:43, 17 degrees in Boise, 20 in Twin Falls, 23 in Grangeville. The Boise City Council is looking for 2 new members. Elaine Clegg is set to become CEO of Valley Regional Transit. And Lisa Sanchez, who was elected to a second term for District 3 back in 2021, gave up her seat this month over a change of address, but she might not be gone for too long. Sanchez could get her seat back after reestablishing residency. She could also, in theory, be appointed to Clegg's seat because that person may live anywhere in the city. Applications for both seats will open on the 31st and then close on February 21st.
The city of Weiser will host the next Capitol for a day. Governor Brad Little, as well as officials from numerous state agencies, will join the public at the Vendome Event Center on State Street in Weiser. The event begins at 10 a.m. and ends at 3 p.m. Washington County residents are especially invited to mingle and discuss with reps from financial management, Health and Welfare, Fish and Game, the Department of Labor, the Department of Lands, and Idaho State Police.
Former Boise State quarterback Hank Bachmeier is heading to the Bayou State to finish his college football career. On Wednesday, Bachmeier told ESPN that he's going to Louisiana Tech, a Conference USA school, where he still has 2 years of eligibility. The 4-year Broncos starter announced last September that he was transferring. Bachmeier said he picked the Ruston, Louisiana program in part because of head coach's air raid pass-friendly scheme on offense.
As you know, the Mass for Life, the March for Life will happen tomorrow. The Mass will be at St. John's Cathedral with Bishop Peter, and the march will follow. Meet at the bandshell of Julia Davis Park and walk to the Capitol, where there will be a short rally. Local news has mentioned zero about the pro-life march, but is promoting a pro-abortion rally happening at the park just beyond the Capitol steps, same day, same time. So we encourage you to join the pro-life mass and march. Your presence is especially important this Saturday. So we'll see you there, and please pray in preparation for this event. Traffic and weather are next.
Support for Sultan Light Radio and the upcoming Idaho Catholic Men's Conference comes from Platinum sponsor Riley's Church Supply and Gift Boutique. Riley's has been serving the Christian community for over 70 years with rosaries, medals, statues, books, and Bibles. They also have themed t-shirts and socks, home decor, pillows, artwork, and handmade botanical lotions and soaps. Riley's Church Supply in Boise's Vista Village, platinum sponsor of the Idaho Catholic Men's Conference.
Good morning, light traffic. So the most treacherous commute you're going to have this morning is from the front door to your car and maybe out of the neighborhood. But once you get to the freeway, things look really good. There's just a bit of slowing as you're merging there at 10 Mile again, a little slowing as you're doing the merge. As you're approaching 16, going either way on Chinden Boulevard, it is slow getting through that area of construction. But things look really great this morning, so you are going to enjoy your commute, particularly as compared to yesterday. So please drive safely. Lights on. That's your morning light traffic.
Treasure Valley weekend weather, sunny but cold the next few days. Highs only in the mid-30s and overnight lows 15 to 20. Magic Valley, partly cloudy skies this weekend with highs near 30 degrees and lows in the mid to upper teens. Mostly sunny today and tomorrow on the Camas Prairie, but expect snow to return on Sunday. Highs 30 to 35 and lows between 20 and 25 degrees. 21 in Nampa at St. Paul's. Fruitland reporting 23 degrees at Corpus Christi. It's 20 degrees at St. Jerome's in Jerome. Let's learn more about our saint of the day. When we return, we'll wrap up this Faithful Friday edition of Morning Light with Priscilla's Porch.
This is Franciscan Media's Saint of the Day for January 20th. Today we celebrate Saint Sebastian. We know little about the life of today's saint, but we do know it was heroic. That's why the Church honors the late 3rd century martyr who is considered the patron saint of archers, as well as physicians, soldiers, and many police associations. Though Sebastian is often depicted in art pierced with arrows, it is believed he did not die from such wounds. The Emperor Diocletian, who ordered the death of Sebastian, his crime being a Christian, was infuriated when Sebastian recovered from arrow wounds. So the emperor chose a more certain weapon. He had Sebastian clubbed to death. Devotion to the young martyr spread rapidly. He was buried in Rome on the Appian Way, probably near the present Basilica of St. Sebastian. He was also venerated as a Roman martyr in Milan, suggesting that he might have been born or educated there. The fact that many of the early saints awakened widespread devotion and great praise is proof of the heroism of their lives. The legends about St. Sebastian may not be literally true, yet they reveal the faith and courage evident in his life. There's more about the saints along with inspiration and Catholic resources at our website, saintoftheday.org. From Franciscan Media, this has been Saint of the Day.
Morning Light concludes on this Faithful Friday with Priscilla's Porch joining us once again via Zoom. Busy Shore, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Hope.
So, the rest of the story as we continue to look at the feminist movement, and I don't know, when we talk about that, I guess I have pictures of the early 20th century suffragette movement. I can picture that. I can picture Rosie the Riveter during World War II, that might be kind of a feminist movement. But what you see on the media today with just the screaming and the vitriol that is being spit at the world,
right, the way
specifically
women
men,
treat each other.
and the way they treat each other. Good point. So, yeah, let's continue down this rabbit hole of what feminism is and what it is not.
Yes. So today we're kind of moving into we're going to take a break from the history. We're going to take a break before we get into philosophy, which I'm going to do some more philosophy down the road. Today we're going to get a little practical. Where are we now? What's on the table? And what can we as Catholics get into and not? So we've talked so far about, our attitude as we talk about feminism as a movement and as we deal with the people in it, to find the good that they set out to accomplish and join them on that. Find ways that we can be partners and allies. We talked about what is a feminist, and that the definition that I think we as Catholics and Christians can really, dig our nails into, and absolutely claim is that a feminist is someone that recognizes the inherent equal dignity between men and women. We recognize that men and women should be treated in ways that reflect that dignity and ways that honor their unique needs and abilities as members of that sex and as individuals. And we acknowledge that this has all too often not been the case, and we commit to doing something about it, whatever is within our power. And we talked about the history of all of the movements, how we got to today, what was good about each movement, what was a little insane about each movement. So in the future, we're going to talk about a little bit more about why the feminist movement needs us. We might get into a little bit of that today. We're going to talk about the threat of existential nominalism to the feminine person and to all people, and even the existence of humanity itself. We're going to talk about the awe-inspiring beauty of the healthy femininity and human biology, and how Western culture has a history of pathologizing that and how it's insane. But today we're going to go over a lot of the issues that are on the floor in the feminist movement now, and what can we as feminists, as Catholic feminists, what can we say we're behind and say, I join you on that soapbox. I just won't join you on those other ones. Okay, so the current things that Catholic women can absolutely support. And the first thing that I put here is the idea that women can perform roles traditionally filled by men, such as corporate and political leadership. We can participate in the military. We can be athletes. If women are so gifted, if women have the gift in a certain area, they deserve to participate there without censure, without comment on, but rather with special consideration for their sex. So if the field you're looking at is not something directly related to reproductive biology, in which literally their biology prevents whatever it is, then there really isn't a good logical reason to just put a moratorium on, no, you can't participate in that. And that is not to say that there shouldn't be safe spaces. Obviously, there should be safe spaces. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about things like careers. If you are gifted, that should be the measure. If you are willing to do the work, that should be the measure. You should not shut people out for either because they're male or because they're female. So we can get behind that. We can get behind women having open doors to education. We can get behind women pursuing careers in business, in leadership, in politics, in the military, in administration, in education, in basically anything that that individual woman is gifted to do. We can be behind that, and policies and laws that support that. So we can also get behind freedom from purely pedantic social expectations. So the idea that you have to wear makeup, the idea that women are expected to get their nails done. So if you're somewhere, it could be a gala event, it could be a coffee shop, and your girlfriend looks at someone else in the store and says, oh, her nails really don't look that good. How are you going to respond to that? Are you going to be the one to make the comment that this lady over there doesn't know how to do her makeup, or should get her hair done, or should get her nails done? Because that's enforcing these pedantic social expectations, right? How are you, and how you respond to your girlfriend that makes those comments is kind of similar to, we have this idea of, we talk about, men having locker room talk, right? And we now have all of these discussions about, a man, when his wingman starts making comments about the girl, how does the man respond? Does he shut his wingman down and say, no, you can't talk about women that way? Well, we have the same thing, ladies. We absolutely do. We need to have each other's back, and not just with your best friend that's standing right next to you. We need to enforce to our best friend these same loving reactions to all of the women we see around us. If she doesn't want to wear a dress, she doesn't have to wear a dress. She doesn't want to have her nails done, she doesn't have to have her nails done. That kind of thing. Social expectations like throwing like a girl. That That phrase needs to die, okay? Punch like a girl. Punch like a girl means absolutely nothing when the girl you're trying to punch just won the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, guys. Okay? It happens. It happens. Okay? So these kinds of things we need to be, and this is not like a policy thing. This is a everyday how you show up, how you speak, how you allow the people around you to speak. When we refer to other people, it's the expectations that we put on our children. If your son wants to play with a baby doll, okay, fine. Then he's practicing tender, loving care and is probably going to be an excellent father. Don't shut that down just, well, you're a boy and boys don't play with dolls. He likes to dance? Okay, put him in ballet. Yeah. There's no reason why boys can't do ballet. Male ballet dancers are really awesome. They're
and
very
strong, insanely strong.
So for me to play squeaky wheel here really quick, and I don't want to take us off task too much, but your thoughts about the current world of scouting, how we have girls that want to join Boy Scouts because they want to go camping. I don't see too many boys joining Girl Scouts because they want the cookies, you know? So I'm just wondering, how do we approach something like that where they have been so exclusive on purpose over the years? Because being a former, Cub Scout master, a troop leader, I should say, that, it's we taught the boys things that made them better men. And for a girl now to be in that setting, she's not going to get the same benefits
and it changes
of that.
The dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the kind of place where I say the fact that the girl wants to join the men's group or the boys group means that the girls group is lacking something.
Right. And that's where I come from. It's like, if you want to go camping, then go talk to leadership and set up camping with the girls, with the Girl Scouts.
Yeah. And to me, this opens, this is where we have this tension between maintaining safe spaces for men to be men and women to be women, for boys to learn to be men and girls to learn to be women. And that there is a tension between that and that need and this idea of don't limit people, right? And both are true. This is the thing. Both of them are true, and neither of them actually supersedes the other. So what the thing is, we have to make sure that there are both. So yes, if your daughter really wants to join the Boy Scouts, and the reason that she wants to join the Boy Scouts is because she wants to go camping, that really means you need to bring camping into the Girl Scouts, because the Boy Scouts is a safe space for boys to learn to be men. That's the purpose. It's not just a camping club. If the Boy Scouts was just a camping club that only happened to have boys sign up historically, that would be one thing. To be like, no, you can't shut them out. But the purpose of the Boy Scouts is teaching boys to be men. And therefore, it is not appropriate to have girls in the Boy Scouts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Off my soapbox now. Carry on.
So other things that Christian women can totally get behind, especially, Catholics with the label of feminist, is things about, consent and responding to harassment, and that no one should ever, no one, not just no woman, no one, because it happens to men too, should ever be pressured into consenting to sexual activity or punished for refusing to participate. And I phrase that very carefully because we have to know that there are too many women who, women particularly, but I'm sure this applies both ways, who give consent, who say yes, and years later, it comes out they said yes because they thought it was expected of them to say yes, not because they actually wanted it, right? So we have to be training our especially our sons, but really everyone, the full respect for the dignity of other people is where this comes from. And women can, all women can absolutely get behind policies, corporate policies, laws, all of this stuff. Maybe it's reforming of police departments, anything that helps protect the dignity of each person in the areas of consent and harassment, right? We can always get behind that. We can also always get behind the idea that your sexual history does not define your worth now. So all of those slut marches, all of the things Madonna was saying, this is the one thing we can pull out of that and say, all right, this is the pearl that I'm pulling out of your swine pit. And I'm saying this we can get behind, okay? Which is whatever you've done in the past, whether you're a teen mother now, whether you've had 50 sexual partners before you were 25, you are still a beloved daughter of God, and that does not change. We're working on moving forward from where we are now. We're never going to condemn someone for what they did before. You can have practical conversations. You could have lessons. Okay, what did you learn? Like the right person can have that conversation with a young woman in a difficult situation, right? But by and large, most of us are not the person to have that conversation with a young woman who's currently the teen mother, right? None of us, unless you know her personally, none of us are called to say that to someone we don't really know intimately, right? So we need to change the cultural mindset about this to treat those people with dignity, no matter what their past is, and put boots on that, right? Put boots on that idea. Because I think we say that a lot of times in platitudes when we talk with our girlfriends, but it doesn't always come out in how we treat each other. Okay, moving on. We can also get behind policies that say that women deserve the same level of medical research studies, medical care, and medical credibility as men. How many times has a woman gone into a doctor and said, I'm in pain? And the doctor goes on and is following the entire history of basically all of medicine going back hundreds of years. Oh, it's just because you're a woman and you're female and you have cycles and there's nothing we can do about it. And I've heard so many stories of women who've gone to the doctor multiple times and they finally go in and their husband is there in the room with them and suddenly the doctor is willing to find solutions to their pain. This is the type of thing, this is one of the things we need feminism for. This is not okay. Women should never be ignored or dismissed when you say you are in pain or distressed or you have problems. Okay. We can also get behind adjusting or rewriting laws, policies, and cultural corporate expectations, including corporate structures, to support women living as their bodies were designed to live, and that all people have a right to a tight-knit family life. Okay, so this to me, this is like a huge thing of what is the ideal feminist vision of the world, especially if feminist is built on a traditional family thing. Like what's the end goal? A world where the corporate structure has a long-term ROI on all of their people, so that if they've just hired a woman and she's pregnant, they immediately give her paternity or maternity leave. If they hire a man and his wife is pregnant, they immediately give him paternity leave. They have flexible working hours so that either parent can help work for the family, so that there's no expectation that it's automatically the woman that's going to call in sick when her kid is actually sick, right? You build a structure for the entire economy in which your leaders in your companies are not looking at what's the bottom line of your ROI in 3 months or 12 months. And so we're going to let you go, or we're going to shut down your promotion path because you have a family that you're committed to. No. They are committed to the individual. The company is committed to the individual, and they're looking at how is this person going to help my company in 10 years? And they're going to do better for my company in 10 years if I support them now. And if I support them now by giving them time with their family, then their family is strong, which makes them strong, and it makes the community strong, which means I have a better community to do business in with my company.
Amen.
That's the vision.
Woo.
Wow, I like that.
Okay.
Man, that's the world I want to live in.
Rooftops over and over again. That is the vision, people. And all feminists can get behind any policy that supports that vision, because that's vision. It doesn't actually matter if you are married and have kids, or if that's even your plan, because when the entire corporate structure, when the entire economy functions with that as their modus operandi, everyone benefits.
That's
because
right.
the opposite, what we have now, which I would say is a toxically masculine, and not just the masculine, toxically masculine vision, structure for the entire economy, for all corporate, is that people are only as much of an investment as your bottom line in the next ROI round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, people become assets, and we need a vision that views people as individuals worthy of love and dignity.
Return on investment, that's ROI. It took me 3 times to remember what that was.
Sorry. Sorry, that's my business.
It's all good.
That's good.
Thank you, Busy.
That wraps up another Priscilla's Porch with Busy Shore. Thank you so much. We will talk again next week.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see you then. Bye.
That wraps up this Faithful Friday edition of Morning Light. Later today, go to saltandlightradio.com, click the Morning Light page, and hit podcast if you missed any of today's segments or previous programs.
Watch us live on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. But most importantly, get signed up for the Idaho Catholic Men's Conference, idahocatholicmen.org. Second most importantly, show up to the march on Saturday. We really, as you can tell, need your body.
Need it.
Thank you to our guests today, Casey El Gazabal, Dwayne Paris, Chad Somerville, and Busy Shore.
Join us Monday at 7 a.m. for Robin Waters from Lifeline during our weekly Passionately Pro-Life segment. Financial fitness provided by Stephen Steck. And it's another Modges Center Monday with our dear friend, Dr. Scott French.
So join us for that marvelous Monday, 7 a.m. Be here or be square. St. Maximilian Kolbe, pray for